This episode of Tekzilla is brought to you by Click It or Ticket. Time to get our HD Nation on. Big news, Panasonic's new VT50 series plasma crowned the best picture quality of 2012. At least till OLEDs hit this summer. This is funny. This is it Big Picture Big Sound that runs this, or is it this crazy?
They were the first to get the article out, and the good folks at Value Electronics actually host this event, and this is their wonderful website. Here are some photos from the event. Oh, we'll just say that
this is a brick and mortar shop in New York City, and basically since 2005 they've gathered the creme de la creme of HDTVs or televisions and picked what they consider to be the best available.
I dig this because they bring in some of the best calibrators in the world to do this event, and they're actually using retail products and not hand-selected units from the manufacturer. And I tend to respect that a lot more than other types of reviews they could do with. Also, the video of this event will be posted by month's end, so I'm kind of giving you a heads up right now that you'll be able to see this actual process and what actually went down on YouTube in about a week or two.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that the winner was the VT50 Panasonic 65-inch beauty, and it just so happens it arrived the same day I actually mentioned that, and I didn't even ask for it from Panasonic, but you know what, since we have the best, supposedly the best plasma of 2012, best HDTV of 2012 in-house, we're going to be showing that off here real soon.
I suspect a review next week.
I feel it coming.
Just don't make me pick it upstairs twice.
No, I won't do that. And some sad news, rest in peace to Mr. Polley, Eugene Polley, inventor of the first wireless channel changer, basically a precursor to the remote control as we know and love it today. There he is holding his, quote, the Flashmatic remote control that debuted in 1955. You could actually flash that at the TV, and it would change the channels up or down depending on how you actually used it. Pretty cool. And again, just a nice bit of history to go out on and remember.
Well, it's funny because like Jeff Jarvis from Buzz Machine actually does a pretty fascinating lecture on sort of the evolution of television content. And remote controls are a big deal because remote controls, they get to be in more than half of the households in the US by the mid-80s, and they start directly impacting how television is programmed. The quality starts getting better because you know, basically the broadcasters and the cable companies don't want you to change channels at commercials.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And they also start really seriously cliffhanging things so that you don't want to change channels during the commercials because you don't want to miss. Don't touch that dial. But you know, it's you laugh, right? But the availability of 400 channels, that's a big deal. But the biggest deal before that was just making it really easy to channel surf.
Yeah, because those eras of having 1, 2, or 3 channels and that's it, and you just leave it on that same station all day, all night. No, that's no longer the case.
We got an email from Joe who writes in, "Hey guys, is it possible to encrypt movies stored on a home theater PC hard drive? What kind of playback would one expect to have doing an encrypted movie? My thoughts are to protect the hard drive should it be stolen or compromised by a Trojan, possibly FTPing the files to an outbound destination. If possible, which encryption software do you suggest? Great show. Thanks, Joe 944.
Joe's 944. TrueCrypt and strong encryption tools like it are privacy's best friend. I have the TrueCrypt software loaded up on my computer right here. And basically you can use this to either encrypt a set of files, a volume, or a whole hard drive. And there's some other stuff we can check out here. But the folks at Tom's Hardware were talking about the impact of performance when using tools like these, and they found it to be quite acceptable, and that was back in 2009. Now, if you're using a newer CPU, particularly Intel CPUs, they actually support accelerating the decryption and encryption process, and in this case, TrueCrypt automatically will check for it, as you can see right here. This is by default, and in this case on my notebook, actually my CPU doesn't support it, but if it did, you get a little yes right here and it would do. In some cases, you'll actually have to update the firmware in the notebook to actually get this enabled, even if it is supported by the chip itself. Also, TrueCrypt introduced hardware-accelerated AES with version 7. Now I'm showing it here under the preferences section that you can check and see if you need that or not. Now, if your CPU supports this type of encryption, it's just going to enable it by default. You really don't even have to check it now. For movie streaming though, and your setup in particular, on my old Atom-based home theater PC, I struggled to get smooth playback experience with 1080p video using that very energy-efficient processor. Now, I would not have considered adding full disk encryption to a setup like that. However, with a newer setup, with a CPU can easily handle that sort of thing in the background, I wouldn't be too concerned about adding this into your home theater gear if you need to. Also, if you're worried about malware and hackers, keep your gear behind a decent broadband router and load up some good protection software like Microsoft Security Essentials if you're running Windows or whatever your favorite operating system of choice may be.
Yeah, and just remember, if you're traveling overseas, U.S. Customs can still compel you to give up your password.
You don't have to.
You don't have to, but it's kind of funny, right?
Just be prepared to lose everything.
Yeah, I would also say, if you're really worried about a Trojan being on your hard drive and FTPing your files out, that's a little paranoid even for us. Because most likely,
just a little bit.
Yeah, to say, yeah, if the Trojans compromised your drive to that point, it may have compromised your.
What's your upload speed like, though? Too, it's like I don't know. If somebody's trying to move a Blu-ray video off of my server, good luck with that at 3 megabit or whatever the heck they can possibly squeeze out of my connection. You're gonna be there for days. Days. And eventually, I'll notice. So anyway, hey, it's time to thank one of our sponsors.
Here's the deal, people. Don't die stupid. Click it. Put your seatbelt on. To help save more lives in America's roadways, law enforcement agencies are going to be out in force nationwide May 21st to June 3rd, 2012, cracking down on motorists who aren't buckling up. It's simple. Seatbelt use saves thousands of lives across America every year. In 2009 alone, seatbelts saved an estimated 12,713 lives nationwide. From 2006 to 2010, of the 130,000 plus passenger vehicle occupants killed in crashes, 54% were unrestrained, as in not wearing their seatbelts. That is over half, people. That is stupid. Click the seatbelt, save a life. Your own. Use your heads, people. Buckle up every time you go out, both day and night. Law enforcement agencies across the country are prepared to ticket anyone, anybody not buckled up. No warnings, no excuses. Save yourself some money, save your life, buckle up, and remember, click it or ticket.